Hi everyone, it's Marissa Lachlan from Joanne's Place here, and you're listening to the Wellness on Purpose podcast. There is no linear path along one's wellness journey, and it is very easy to get caught up in the latest health trends found on social media, which tend to redirect our wellness journeys. Things like, what's the difference between clean and dirty eating? How should I reduce my stress? How do I know if I'm regular? How much sleep should I be getting? What even is cortisol? And do I need to be taking a multivitamin? There is so much information being released in the wellness industry on and offline, and it can be very challenging to not jump on every bandwagon we read about. Here at the Wellness on Purpose podcast, our intention is to connect with experts in our community to inspire and educate you to take the next impactful and realistic step in your journey to live wellness on purpose now and for future generations. On this episode of the Wellness on Purpose podcast, we're speaking to Lilli Fleming, who is a health and wellness coach. Today, we're going to talk about how Lilli helps women reignite their love and spark. We're going to burst the bubble on women having it all. We're going to talk about how powerful and impactful breath work can be. And lastly, Lilli's going to share how important it is to understand that inner voice. Welcome, Lilli. Thanks for being on the Wellness on Purpose podcast today. How are you?
I'm great, Marissa. I'm excited to be here and chat with you.
Awesome. So let's start by telling our listeners a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, what your passion is.
Yes. So I am a health coach and studied with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York City. I did it remotely online. I've lived in Peterborough for most of my life, but have traveled a lot. My husband and I returned 10 years ago to start a family. We have 2 little girls, and I have a strong passion for helping people live balanced lives and have had a bumpy journey to get to where I am. And so I would love to just help people improve their own wellness journey.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say are some of those big things that you found along your wellness journey that are those bumps that made you really progress in your wellness journey?
Yes. So I definitely struggled with an eating disorder when I was younger, and then had a lot of fluctuations in weight. Like I would be really thin and then I would gain a lot of weight, and just felt really frustrated by that and watched women around me feeling frustrated. And
How old are you when this happened?
I was probably in my late teens when I started, and it was because I was really into sports, and then I wanted to fit in, and so I did everything I could to sort of, fit the tick all the boxes, and that's when the eating disorder began. Mm-hmm. And so I just felt I kept looking for answers over the last 20 years, and only in the last 5 years did I feel like I got the answer to the things I struggled with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what would be some of those major things you struggled with?
I struggled with loving my body 100%, and also trusting that the things I would put into my body were actually good for me.
Yeah.
I would just so often restrict, or then just put a whole bunch of things in thinking that was the remedy, and probably had so many different strange symptoms, from IBS to diarrhea to bloatation, and never knowing exactly what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you think it wasn't until you went to school to become a health coach that you realized those connections, or do you think it was before that?
Yeah, no, I think the major connections were made during my program, because there was so much education surrounding food, diet, nutrition, body awareness. So I didn't make the significant connections until I did all my learning. Before that, I tried to sort of self-medicate as best as I could and sort of follow what I saw other people doing, with not a lot of success.
Yeah.
So it has been it's just transformed my life doing the program.
Yeah, great. And I know that for myself and other people in the health and wellness industry that you can also become very caught up in making sure that the diet is perfect, making sure that it is, to a T, that checks every box. Do you feel like there's times that you go through where that's kind of a phase of of a control factor that you still kind of deal with, or
yeah. I mean, 100% when I started the program did I get super controlling about what I ate. Like I cut out everything that could be like causing inflammation, and trying to create the cleanest diet there was. And but yet that stress in itself was causing my body not to be happy. So I had to ease up a lot and start trusting much more, like, what foods were good and how much I was going to have. But it's trial and error. And now I feel like I can help people anyways in their journey because I've gone through that. Like it's not been a perfect ride for me, for sure. But now there's like this deep trust of, knowing what's right for my body. And everyone's different. Everyone's approach to their health is different. I don't believe that there's like a one pill or a one diet that is meant for everyone.
Yeah. And over the years, do you want to share maybe some of those diet, I guess we could say, trends you have followed kind of through your wellness journey?
Yeah. I mean, I fell into sort of the gluten-free trend, and thought that was the answer to my prayers, because my family ate a lot of carbs. Like, we were European, and there were lots of delicious breads and potatoes, and just like carbs were sort of always there.
Yep.
And pastas and everything. So I went gluten-free thinking that would fix my problem. And then I took dairy out, then I took sugar out, then I took alcohol out. And so I've just been following certain trends. Like, not so 100% specific a name that I could give, but just along with some of the mainstream trends, just following alongside, and knowing now that it more comes down to the trust that I have in my body and knowing what's right and having tried so many different things. So those are some of the things for sure that I did, like restricted a lot of foods.
And what we know is that restriction, when it comes to our diet and our lifestyle, is what leads to that elevated stress level, right? And that's something that you work a lot with your clients. So let's talk about what that stress response looks like, because that actually, like I say to some of my clients as well, is, you can have a salad every single day and think that you're providing the amount of nourishment that you need to, but if you're in a chronic state of stress while you're eating that salad, or you really dislike eating that salad, it's going to have such a negative effect on the body. So how about you share some of your experiences with your clients, or what your approach is to that stress management?
Yes. So what I see the most is people actually not trusting themselves with what they're putting in their bodies, or how they're moving their bodies, or how they're behaving in relationships, because my program is a holistic approach on all areas of your life. So I don't just solely focus on food. And I notice that trust factor in areas that they're struggling with creates stress responses. And the stress responses then produce these symptoms in the body, which then get really confusing, and people sort of want to identify them and classify them and put them in these categories, when it's like the body's just reacting to the stress response, the fight or flight, the one that I lived in for so many years. And I know that so well.
And so many people live in that and don't even know that they're in a fight or flight situation, right?
Yeah, I know that that most of my anxiety came from the lack of trust surrounding all those areas, like from relationships to food to fitness, like just really knowing my body, and resting, like how much rest should I have, what types of supplementation should I have, all those things. And it takes that's why I feel so passionate about it, because I learned so much, and now I feel like I have this great way of helping people manage all the different aspects of their life, so that they do find like that trust again within themselves, because it's always there. Like we do have that. It comes from our childhood, when we're don't have as many things to concern ourselves with, and we have tons more trust, and we're healthier because of that. So I'm trying to bring people back into that place.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say are some of the tactics that you see people succeed most in when they're managing their stress?
Yes. So I know the biggest one is you've got to first slow your life down. so that you can take a full analysis of what's happening in it. And I always say, and I probably will say this at the end again, that breath work has been the most powerful of all the things to work on for myself. And like I know you love yoga, and I love yoga, and I feel like the breath work in itself is the most, and through yoga and through meditation, is the most powerful way to bring your nervous system back into balance. And so that is probably, when I see people slow down, take that time for themselves, is where I see the best results.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you want to maybe touch a little bit on movement? So you just mentioned like yoga. What other forms of exercise do you think are suitable for people trying to lower their stress level?
Yes. So I used to be a competitive athlete and all the things that I did. And when I was young, it worked out. And because your body's, really fit and
it's energized.
It's energized. Like it can totally do it. Now, as I'm into my 40s, I've realized I have to change how I move my body. So I find slower movements, yoga, Pilates, walking, swimming, biking, anything that you can do to cool the nervous system, especially if you're revving up all the time. Like if your job's asking you to rev up, if your life's asking you to rev up, you've got a lot of people you're taking care of, a lot of responsibilities, just finding ways that your body can slow down and recalibrate. So those would be the activities that I would encourage people to go for, and you can do those like in a fun way without too much pressure.
Yeah,
I have nothing against big cardio workouts, but I think that they are suitable for certain times, and they're for certain body types, and for certain times of your life. So I just think you have to get to know your own body and to know at the stage of life that you're in what is appropriate for that time.
Absolutely. And I think too, like I'm guilty of this, is when I'm in a big state of stress, I'm like, I need to de-stress, and I go to the gym. I do a weight training class, I do some type of spin class or something, and sometimes after I feel so drained, and that's a good indication that potentially that's not great for the body, right? But so many people use exercise as a stress relief, but really when we understand the body and how it works, it can have more of a detrimental effect long term than really managing that stress that time, right?
And I love that you bring that up, because I find we can shoot cortisol through our bodies in so many different ways, whether it's, stress at work, stress in a relationship, stress because you're pushing your body too hard. So it's a matter of managing the amount of cortisol that gets shot into your body, and learning in yourself what you like in your body. Like some people love the rush and they can manage that somehow, but other people can't, because they're shooting cortisol with all these different times of their day is shooting into the body, and they're not realizing that it's just compounding, and then they have all kinds of inflammatory responses. So I know for myself, like we lead a very busy life, we have a lot going on, and I know for myself that I have to choose activities that bring down the breath, bring down the nervous system, so that I can, like with ease, go through my day, get all my jobs done, be a good friend and partner and mother and all those things.
Yeah, for sure. Because those are what's most important, right? Yeah. What would be some precursors that people would be able to actually identify on the daily basis to know whether they're stressed or not? Because I know myself, I'm A-type personality, and I don't even know when stress hits me until I get sick, right?
Yes.
So how can we prevent that illness or high inflammation to set in? What are some precursors that people can see right away?
Yes, so I know I mostly deal with women, and for them, hormone imbalances that crop up where the body's starting to say, hey, I'm not enjoying what you're doing to me, and all these different things. So I see that a lot. Thyroid issues crop up as well. And I don't specifically address those. I'm just addressing ways, or giving you tools in ways to like manage the places in your life that you're out of balance. So I know, when women come and they're flustered and they can't sort of bring them back down into a place where they're feeling happy about their life. When they're complaining a lot, they're feeling aggravated, their stress response is quick, they're not taking time for themselves. Those are like the precursor moments where you're already going down a slippery slope, where you really have to take stock of what's going on in your life. So I would say like the quick responses in life that are shoot from the cuff, like just not taking time, your relationships start to suffer. You're not able to manage your day. You can't. All those things are warning signs that you're on the down. You're going downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bottom line, everyone has stress, right? Everybody has stress, whether it's at home, their relationships. It's and sometimes the stress doesn't go away, but it's how can we manage it that's suitable to increase your longevity, to reduce those long-term effects, like you mentioned too, like inflammatory. That's one of the biggest responses of the stress overload in the body, right? Inflammation.
And I know, because I deal with women the most, is that we think we have to be superheroes, and I've watched women around me trying to be superheroes, and it always comes at a cost, and we're not often cutting ourselves enough breaks. And I know self-care is one of those words that's like everywhere, and people are, making it like throwing it around a lot. And I think it's super important, but I also know it could be incorporated into a not so stigmatized
That's true.
way.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think self-care, self-love, it's important. It is essential. It is a cornerstone to people's health. But making sure that whatever actions you're doing with those self-care, self-love practices are giving you a return on investment on your body, on your health, on your longevity, right?
Exactly.
Because it has become very stigmatized. It's very trendy, some people would say, right?
And it puts tons of pressure on women to sort of, okay, I got to fit it in. I got to do that. And if I haven't done that, then I should feel shitty about myself. And, just this like brutal cycle for women. And we already have so many demands on us all the time that I always think, like, my biggest passion is to help people reignite their love and spark for finding love for themselves again in a fun way. So you're incorporating all kinds of different, whether it be food, activities, fun things for your relationships, fun things to like declutter your home, whatever it is, but to reignite places that really do give back to you versus, okay, oh my gosh, I gotta like quickly fit in my half an hour cardio because I need to, and if I don't do that, then I'm not gonna fit into my jeans, and I'm, it's just like this crazy
it's a vicious cycle.
do.
And I love what you just said about the idea of having to needing to do something, right? That's it shouldn't be a need. It should be that I'm going to do this because I love doing this, and it's going to ignite my whole life again, right? Exactly. Would you say that there is, when we talk about stress, and women specifically with stress, would you say that there's a myth about stress related to women, or routine, or really anything in your field of practice?
I know, like, the myth of having it all is, to me, the biggest hindrance of just having a great life. Women thinking, I need to have my career and a great relationship, and these types of vacations and these types of outfits, and like whatever it is, all these types of things that we think we have to have, is just so hard on our health, and is so affects our stress levels. And I know it's easier for me to say because I've done this program, and I've sort of found my my groove and a place that I feel really happy and content. But I just feel like sometimes I just want to burst the bubble and say, okay, ladies, like, it is such a myth that you can just have it all and
have balance in it all.
And have balance, because I always think I'm a really content, chill person, but I also have learned like where my limits are on everything. So I guess that would be my thing is that you have to learn what your limits are
Yeah.
in order to feel happy and content, and not to put the pressure on yourself, not to create those stress responses. And then life kind of works itself out, which is the most beautiful place to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that expectation that women have, like you said, to have it all, to check all those boxes, to, and make sure that everything's good for everyone else as well, too. And then being that last box that needs to be checked, right? Sure. We don't need to have it all. We just need to know what we have, and see that as that light, the love of being living, right?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Who would you say are some of your biggest inspirations?
Yes, so I have several coaches like Marie Forleo, Gabby Bernstein, Chris Carr. They were actually all teachers in my program, so I learned from them about how to approach life and how to sort of strike that inner spark again, like that tiny little spark that's always there that I always so missed from my childhood, and they reignited that for me. And then I also followed Oprah for a long time because I find the women all are constantly working on like empowerment, but like a personal development, and they care about their body, mind, and spirit. So there isn't just one aspect for them. It's all the three things together that make for a beautiful and happy and balanced life. And so those women have 100% inspired me. I've read their books. I've just been amazed by, and they've had really great stories too, which I think is always the intrigue for most people, is that we all have a story to bring to where we are, where we meet people.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Gabby Bernstein as well. She's one of my biggest inspirations too. She's amazing. Just the way that she brings you back to life, right? Those foundational pieces. And Oprah, I love that. I love Oprah too. And I feel like the health industry can sometimes be so... Some people can have their nose stuck up, which is so not necessary. And I feel like some people had that about Oprah because she has gone through kind of phases with, promoting different things and whatnot. But at the end of the day, she's there to help women tell their story.
Exactly.
And connect mind, body, soul, right?
And that's where I feel like if someone helps you connect mind, body, spirit, you're on the right path. If someone's just addressing one aspect of your life, I feel like you want a holistic approach to anything in your life. You want it to be well-rounded, looking at all areas. And those women do it. And they look at the humanness in all of us, like the flaws, the scars, the stories, the journeys, and just bring back the spark.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
there.
Yeah, because it's there. It never goes away. It just... that flame sometimes goes out a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay for that to happen, but having the right tools and the right people around you to bring it back, right?
Is very important.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Yeah. So I know that you shop at Joanne's Place.
Yes.
I see you on a weekly basis, which is wonderful.
Yes.
It's so great to catch up with you all the time. But what would you say at Joanne's Place is one of those tried and true products that's helped you along your wellness journey, makes you feel good, and that provides you nourishment?
Mm-hmm. This is a tough question because there's a lot of products I like, and my cupboards and fridges are full. I love Rise Kombucha. That if you were to ask me sort of the most, amazing, every day, like I drink it every day. I love it. I love the effects it has on my gut bacteria. I love the taste. We act like it's a cocktail. My husband and I drink it in place of a cocktail, and sometimes we make it into a cocktail depending on what kind of day we had.
Yeah.
And I love the fizz of it. So, because I wasn't allowed to drink pop growing up, and then when I was allowed to drink pop, I'd feel guilty about it because I knew it wasn't good for me. And so in these years, I've loved having something like kombucha because it makes me feel like it fills that little desire.
Yeah, absolutely. Growing up, did you have more strict rules with food? Like, did you come from a healthy background before coming into the health world, or?
Well, my family owned an organic farm, so they were definitely already believed in the connection between the land and your body and your health. And so that was there. Not so much said, but it was was known, like the connection was there. My mother was a, great cook. She loved European cooking, so it was quite indulgent. Like there were a lot of creams and meats and carbs, like I was saying, and lots of like baked lovely things that we would get. So I don't know if it's not sounding so healthy. We were in the outdoors our whole life. We grew up in the outdoors. So I mean, I think that balanced itself out.
Yeah.
100%.
But if your mom cooked a lot, though, that's a big staple of just having more homemade meals, right? That's a healthy background.
And she was also someone who believed in health from a younger age. So I saw her trying out all kinds of interesting, cool things through the health food store from when I was young. So it definitely was on my radar from a very early age.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, sorry, back to kombucha. Kombucha is amazing, right? So many benefits, good for the gut health. I too also mix it as a cocktail. Good days, bad days, doesn't really matter. But yeah, kombucha is a good one. It's really, I love Rise. It's one of my favorite companies as well too, right?
Yeah.
So what's your favorite flavor?
See, this is hard again because I like several flavors, but then I'm like, as the health coach, I'm like, okay, ginger is so soothing to my stomach.
Yeah.
Let's go for ginger. But I do like all their flavors.
Yeah. They're all good.
They're all good. And I love the big bottles so that lasts me a whole week and then I can fill back up. I've got my husband right on board. He loves it.
Do your girls like it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? They do. The one loves it and one is learning to love it.
Good.
So
That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So my final question for you is, you're stuck in an elevator, either you're stuck there and it's not moving, or you've got 20 flights to go. What's a really valuable piece of information that you could give to somebody that could really just help them along their wellness journey, or even just start their journey a little bit as well?
Yes. So I thought about this and I thought, well, the irony is, and it's going to sound silly because it's the elevator and I'm going to say that my favorite piece of advice that I even learned through my program that I give to people is the breath work. And there's a breath work from Dr. Weil that I learned, and it's 4-7-8. You hold your breath. You draw in for 4 seconds, a count of 4. You hold your breath for 7 seconds, and you release the breath for 8 seconds, and you do that a few times in a consecutive manner. And that is like, women are like, oh, when can I go to the spa again? Or when can I meet my friend for a drink? To like get that good feeling. This breath work will get you there
right away.
Exactly, right away. And so I know it's the most powerful one. It's the one that I have to remember when I'm stressed or like I don't love to fly, so then I have to practice that when I'm flying. And or when my children are going through a tough time and then I have to remember the breath, or I'm feeling stressed about what's a commitment or my day. It's always back to the breath. It's my favorite piece of advice. It's the one piece of advice I would share with everyone first.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting. I know you mentioned I'm in yoga, meditation, breath work as well too. And ever since I've become aware of how powerful the breath is, I watch people breathe, right? I don't know if you've ever done this, and I'll be like standing there, I'll be watching. Are they breathing into their belly? Is it, how high are their shoulders? If their shoulders are relaxed, they're breathing deeper. But breath is powerful, and it is the most underutilized tool that you can possibly use. It doesn't cost you anything. Everybody can do it, and you can do it anywhere, right? Yeah, I read it like a little meme the other day, and it said that breath work was the only thing that's never prescribed by doctors. And I was like, yeah, it's really not, unless you have a really great doctor that's backing you up on a holistic approach, right?
Exactly.
So,
and wouldn't it be so awesome if that was given out as advice?
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't mean that sometimes, you can't work in tandem with different types of treatments, but that breath work is the gift that we're given as we enter this world. It's the first thing we do when we come out as a baby is take the deep breath. So it's just one of those crazy things that I just hope in the future that we get to a place where people are prescribing that
absolutely
on a regular basis.
Me too. Yeah. So recap of that. So in and out through the nose. 4.
So in 4 count, hold 7 count, release 8 count.
And how long would you recommend someone to do that?
I would do it a few times in a consecutive manner. Do it in a series of 3 to 5 times to really get the benefits, and you'll see quickly everything relax, and then you'll feel like you've gone to the spa.
Yeah.
And how great is that?
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot cheaper than going, although I love to go, but
For sure. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Lilli. I really appreciate you being on here and sharing, inspiring, and educating our community on stress, the simple tools that you can do to reduce your stress, and how important it is to make sure that breath work is part of your day. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in for today's episode with Lilli Fleming. Be sure to follow Lilli on social media at Live Well with Lilli to be inspired, supported, and motivated to live your best life. As always, please like, review, subscribe, comments, leave us any feedback that you want to, and we hope that you are inspired to live wellness on purpose now and for future generations.